first off, how have things been this week after last weekend's cup win?
Yeah, I think obviously after any good result you come in on a Monday and it's a positive atmosphere. Obviously you still look at the game and analyse it and you still look at the things we can do better, but yeah, listen, obviously everyone's in a good place. Like you say, when you're winning games of footy, that feeling around the place is obviously uplifted a bit and like you say, puts everyone in a good mood to attack the next week.
Do you think it sets down a marker for all the other teams that you'll come across this season?
Yeah, I think we knew it was going to be a tough test going there. You know, on paper, the league above us as a team, so we knew it was going to be a tough test, but we always believed we could go there if we perform the way we can, we could get the results, and you know, thankfully we've done that. Got ourselves into the next round of the cup, which is obviously great for the club and for the fans and everyone, all the players, but like you say, it's obviously back to the league fixture now this weekend, and that's what we've got to fully focus on. And
just on that, what are you expecting from Airdrie?
I think it'll be a tough test. I think you know, we're away from home. I think it brings its different tests. Like you say, obviously played them in the cup this year. We've got a good result, so I'd imagine you know they'll be looking at that game as the way we will as well. But they'll want to change whatever didn't go well for them on that day. So listen, I think we've got to expect the best version of them this season. I think we've got to do that going into every game. Make sure we're on the money and you know, hopefully go down there, say, put a performance in and get a good result again.
You obviously referred to it there, you've obviously come across Airdrie quite a lot in recent times. Does that pose any advantage, or do you think too much has changed over?
Yeah, I think there's obviously been a lot of change probably on both sides. Even from, like you say, the game in the cup, I'm sure they'll maybe, you know, will change things from that game as well. So I don't think you can look too much into it. It's obviously parts of it you can look at. But like you say, he's got to make sure we're on it again. Like you say, boys been working hard again all week and we prepare for the game, make sure we're ready to go and hopefully go and you know get the results again.
I understand you're approaching an important milestone with the club this weekend. Just how would you sum up your time at Ross County?
Yeah, it's been yeah, obviously I've loved it. I think you don't stay somewhere for that long if you're not enjoying it, and I think straight away there's obviously a connection at the club, and it's sort of like you say, I can't believe it's been as long as it has been. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but listen, it's obviously you know, it's great to play so many games for the club, and hopefully I can, you know, long way that can continue.
That's all for me. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
200 games is a huge number. Do you ever have expected that when you first came up to do it?
No, I don't think you do. I think obviously, especially when you're younger, you're sort of jumping about teams or trying to find your way, and yeah, I think it's not come here and it just clicked. I think something, you know, the club, I got what the club was about, I think, and like you say, you don't really stay about for that long. It doesn't happen too often, do you know what I mean? So obviously it's nice, and like I say, the club means a lot to me. And you say it's been a tough last couple of years for everyone who cares about the club, but like you say, obviously the start of the season has been positive, and hopefully, you know, we can continue that.
There's been a lot of change at the club over those years. I guess it says something about your resilience. It's the word that's coming to mind, both on the pitch and off the pitch, that you're still here through all that.
Yeah, I think obviously it's no football's like it can change week to week. So obviously over that period of time, I think this is my 7th season now. I think so. There's obviously been a lot of change, a lot of different managers, and you know, everything changes through a club. So yeah, you know, probably, you know, might be doing well to still be standing, but I think it's yeah, like I say, listen, just as soon as I come here, there was something about the club. I think my first season was probably stop-start, getting back into the footy again, and then since then I think I've been pretty constant within the team. So listen, it's like you say, when you find somewhere, like, doesn't happen too often in footy, so I'm glad it's lasted as long as it has, and like you say, hopefully, you know, many more years to come.
I mean, you've obviously had a big impact on the club over your time. You're playing so many games. How's the club impacted you, you know, even personally off the pitch and that time? Yeah,
I think it's massive. I think it's your life, you know what I mean? I think as a footballer, when you're at a club, it is your life. So obviously I'm up here now, I've had the daughter up here, my sister's up here with me, and it's like, you move up here, do you know what I mean? This is your home now, so like you say, it's a home from home, but it's probably home at the moment, because it's, like you say, I've been here for my 7th season, so I spend more time here than I do anywhere near home. So it's yeah, it's become home. I think that's the only thing you can say, and I think, you know, that's probably part of, you know, what makes this club good, is about, you know, you've got to, because it is so far away, you've got to invest in the club, and I think when players do that, I think you have obviously a better chance of, you know, succeeding at the football club, and I think that's something I think the manager and the club have sort of installed in boys coming in this year. It's about, you know, investing in the area and, you know, moving up here properly and being a full part of Ross County, and I think that's because of where we are. I think it's unique in that sense. Everyone's in the same boat obviously all the lads are away from home, so I think the more players you can get that, you know, fully invested in the club, then I think, you know, hopefully the club should reap the rewards of that.
On a similar start, I know you used the word belief earlier. How important has the success at the start of the season been after the last couple of years for restoring that belief in the group?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's, like you're saying, momentum's massive in football, and I think obviously the last couple of years we've probably had the momentum in the wrong way, losing games of football, and obviously a big point from the manager was you need to get the club back to winning games of football, get that mentality of winning games, and I think Saturday showed it. You know, it's 1-1 with 5-6 minutes left, and you know you're in a game thinking we can go and win this. I think that's massive. Obviously you've got to put a lot of hard work into to get to that point, and like you say, it's only been a few games so far, so nothing's happened yet. But you say it's a good start to the season. It's obviously the start we're all hoping for, and hopefully we just got to keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully it can continue.
With the hits that the club's taken over the last couple of years, we've seen a few of your former teammates say, actually, not what I signed up for, not for me anymore. You, as I say, it's 7th season here. Have you kind of ever thought that about your own future, that maybe it's time to go?
No, I think, listen, like I say, football's, you never know what can happen in football. It changes week to week, but I think, like you say, when you find somewhere where you're settled and you know a place means a lot to you, it's hard to once you're there, it's hard to, you know, to walk away, or whatever you want to call it, or you know, like in football, you know, the club might not want you, but you know, so far, luckily for me, that hasn't happened yet. So no, listen, I've just got to enjoy it while I can. You say you've got obviously a big year for the football club, and hopefully it's a successful one. We started well, but I think obviously everyone's focus is just game by game. We've just got to keep doing what we're doing, work hard and try and get the club back, like you say, to winning games of football, and a bit of a feel-good factor back around the place, because I think anyone who's involved with the club and you know who cares about this club, it's been a tough couple of years. You know, there's no hiding away from that. So I think to be winning games like we have done so far, you know, I think hopefully the fans have probably got that bit more excitement about the place, and I think that's massive as well. Bring a bit of joy back to them and to people around the club, and hopefully we can, like you say, just week by week keep doing that, and hopefully it's like you say, keep everyone a bit of feel-good factor about the place.
We were kind of talking about that when we saw it was either going to be up this week. It's quite nice to chat to you in these sorts of circumstances when things are so positive.
Yeah.
So often over the last couple of years it's been you coming out fronting up after a not great result.
No, I think listen, that's like you say, there's no hiding away from it. It has been that over the last couple of years, a lot of them conversations, and like you say, at the moment obviously it's a real positive place. That's what we want to keep it for as long as possible. But we know it's not going to be easy at all. Do you know what I mean? We're going to have come Saturday, it's going to be another tough test for us. So I think that's the mindset of everyone. It's, you know, week by week, game by game. We've just got to keep doing what we're doing. I think obviously from the last few weeks, everyone's probably got the feel of what that feeling is like, how good it can be, and hopefully you say that gives everyone even more motivation if they needed it to keep getting them wins and keep that good feeling about the place, because like you say, it can be a different place if things are going well. So listen, it's our job to keep working hard and try and make that continue.
Just one from me, Conor, any game in particular in the 199 that sticks out for you?
I think the obvious one's probably the Partick game. Yeah. I think that's one that people still speak about now. Obviously we had a few lads that played for Partick that day. We've got a couple here now, we've had a couple more that have been here before, so you know, that's one of the first things you speak about with them. I think everyone involved in that day, whether you're on the winning side or losing side, you look back and go, that was, you know, it was a special game of football. So yeah, listen, that's probably the main standout one. Obviously it was obviously in the end it turned out to be a good day for us, but it was a long game, and it's one you look back on with obviously fond memories now. And then obviously when we got top 6, probably the most successful period that we've had so far. So that was, you know, that game against Aberdeen away, you remember that as well as a positive. Like you say, hopefully there's a lot more positive moments and games to come in the future.
Yeah, you must be proud of the way, you know, you've performed for County over the years, and having done so at Premiership level as well. Yeah,
listen, it's like you say, you know, we don't really look back too much in footy and think about things, but obviously it's a proud thing to play so many games, and like you mentioned, to, you know, stick about the place for so long. It's, you know, it is an achievement. And like you say, obviously most of them games have been in the Premiership. Last 2 seasons have been very disappointing, so hopefully this season can be a successful season for the club. Like you say, we had a positive start, but just got to keep ourselves going, and hopefully we can, like you say, continue the positivity. Hey, Sean.
Thank you.